The list is out from Dragan Skocic. Finally, World Cup qualifying is here after all of these postponements. We've got plenty to talk about today. Of course, Iran's lineup, the boys from Brazil, and of course, analysis and predictions as well. But you know the deal. It's time for Meli Talk. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Meli Talk. Great to have you with us. We know what's on everyone's mind. Yes, Iran's World Cup qualifier is coming up very soon against Hong Kong. That game will be played in Bahrain. Of course, we don't want to focus too much time on these games being played in Bahrain, but let's face it, stupid football confederations make stupid decisions. Anyways, let's get right to that list, starting with the goalkeepers. Some familiar names in Ali Reza Bayranvand, Amir Abedzadeh, Payam Niazmand, and Mohammad Reza Akhbari. Now on to the center backs. I definitely like the list here for center backs and wing backs. First with the center backs, Mortaza Pourali Ganji, Majid Hosseini, Shoja Khalilzadeh, and Hossein Kanani. Now for the wing backs, Sadek Muharrami, Milad Mohammadi, Jafar Samani, and Daniel Ismailiyefar. Like I said, I really like this list very much so far. Now for the midfielders. Yes, we can take that sigh of relief. Saideh Ezzatullahi has been called up, along with Ihsan Hajsafi, Ahmad Nurullahi, Vahid Amiri, and Kamal Kamyabinia. Now as for the wingers slash attacking midfielders, some other good names too. Ali Reza Jahanbash, Saman Goldus, Ali Gulizadeh, Mehdi Gaidi, and Mehdi Torabi. And of course, last but not least, our forwards, or our strikers, our poachers, whatever you want to call them. Sardar Azmoun, Mehdi Taremi, Karim Ansari Fard, and Kaveh Rezai. Now, when it comes to this list, I'll be honest, I do like the list, but it's also great to get other opinions as well. And joining me all the way from Singapore, my good friend, Arash Ostovari. Arash, how's it going, man? Great to have you on the show.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be on your show again.
Let's get right to it. I mean, when you look at this list, I want your honest opinion, Arash. Like, when you look at this list, are you able to say something like, hey, there's some good players here, but are you also saying something along the lines of, you know what, I like this list, but there are some other good players missing that I would have called?
Well, looking at this list, I would say it's overall it's a good list, but there are some specific players that it was better to be called for the matches that we have. Because I have been recently watched the match of Bahrain versus Ukraine, and they are pretty solid team. So I guess we need a bit of more experienced players for upcoming matches. So it was few players that, in my opinion, it would be better to call them as well.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You talked about needing to have more experience. Can you mention some of these players? We like to hear these names, that's for sure.
In defense line, I would say that I still don't know what's the reason of not calling out Ramin Rezaian. Is it a personal issue? Because I don't think it's a technical issue. He has been spent a really good season. So he could be very helpful if we had him in this list, especially because he's playing in the Gulf now, in Qatar, and playing with Arab players. It will be helpful in our matches against Bahrain and Iraq. So Ramin Rezaian for me is unsolved yet. I don't know why. Then in the midfielder position, I would say I'm wondering why Ali Karimi is not in the list, because Ali Karimi is a creative center mid, which in a tough match you would definitely need a creative center mid to opening opportunities, opening chances for players, which we don't have that player right now in Team Meli. With respect to all other midfielders, I would think that we have lack of a creative center mid right now, because Said Ezzatullahi, Kamal Kamyabinia, they are more like defensive midfielders to me. Then also Omid Ebrahimi could be called up if we are looking for experienced players to help us in these matches that actually is very tough journey to the World Cup.
I mean, when it comes to the midfield position, I agree with you on Omid Ebrahimi. For some reason, I'm not really big on Ramin Rezaian. And my reason for saying I'm not too big on him, I just feel like he's, lost some quality in his defending abilities. I mean, I don't want to just say because, just because he had a bad game against Iraq, a year and a half ago. I don't want to say that means he's done. I just, I feel confident, though, to be honest, with Sadegh Moharrami and Daniel Ismaili Far. I think, these are two pretty good right backs. If there's one thing I say we're missing from Ramin Rezaian is that he's good at taking free kicks, and I definitely don't want to see Hassana Hajsafi taking any free kicks ever. But from my point of view, I just want to point out that having Saïd Ezzatullahi, I believe this is going to solve a lot of problems. I mean, I know you said he's more of a defensive midfielder, but he's the one that keeps this team together. And without him, I think we would be in a lot of trouble. So I'm feeling good about this list. And I think you've got to be feeling good about Saïd being in the squad.
Definitely. I'm very positive on Saïd. But as I said, and we always had that problem in national team, we always had a lack of a creative center mid. He can make opportunities. And I didn't see actually that player in national team after Ali Karimi, the former Ali Karimi, and Jabari. So I believe that the new Ali Karimi can be solved that issue in the national team because he played what we call it fancy football, creative, and he could do very good job beside Ezzatullahi.
Now, I feel like what we really need to do is, like I said, focus on Hong Kong. Everyone just seems to be focusing only on Bahrain right away. And I don't think Hong Kong's going to be that easy. But for this segment, I really got to refer to this as, I got to refer to this Hong Kong team as the boys from Brazil. They have some naturalized Brazilian players on their team, and they recently naturalized a couple more Brazilians for these upcoming qualifiers. And, this is interesting to me because when it comes to Hong Kong and China, they don't see eye to eye on a lot of things lately. But when it comes to naturalizing Brazilians, yeah, it seems like Hong Kong is happy to copy China in that regard. So with Hong Kong naturalizing a few Brazilians, do you feel like this might be of some kind of concern for Team Meli?
Well, I don't think so, because Hong Kong, Macau, they have been doing this for years and years. And it didn't make any problem for other Asian teams. I don't know why. Maybe the players that they are naturalized are not that good enough. So I don't think that Team Meli are going to have difficulty against Hong Kong.
One of my followers on YouTube had a question asking, should Iran play maybe like a B team or maybe not its strongest team against Hong Kong to have most of the big guns ready for the game against Bahrain? What is your opinion on that?
No, I don't agree. Iran have to play with full power against Hong Kong or even Cambodia. We can't take any risk on this, as I said, because Hong Kong has 3 points, Bahrain got 3 points as well. So both these 3 points are important for us. Also, I forget to mention that we had rumors that a player called Ryan Tafazoli going to be called off, which when I checked with my friends in Iran, they say he was actually in the list and it was paperwork issues for him that he couldn't be part of the national team in last moments. So I would believe that if we had him as well, as Federation could make things a bit faster, he could be helpful.
Okay, so we are getting ready to wrap up this edition of Team Meli Talk, but we got 2 predictions to do first. So, who do you think will be starting in goal for Iran? I'm going with Ali Reza Bayram-Vand. I just have a feeling about him. I still think he's our full-on number 1. Who's your choice?
Definitely Amir Abadzadeh is my choice. And I believe that he is the most ready goalkeeper we had now. He can even be our number 1. Not just because he's my friend, because the recent matches I saw from him, he's absolutely ready.
Okay, now time for a score. Let's not forget, last time Iran played Hong Kong in a qualifier, yes, it seems like it was so long ago. Yes, it was a while ago. Iran won that game 2-0. And, for my prediction, I'm going with the same score, a 2-0 victory for Iran. How about you?
I would believe 2-0 as well. It's not a hard game, but it's not an easy game as well. That's what I'm saying. So we shouldn't think that if it's not a hard game, it's an easy game. No, it's a game. It's a football match.
Arash, I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to join me on Team Meli Talk. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
Thanks, man. I wish you a great time.
And of course, wishing nothing but great things for Team Meli, the national team of Iran. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this edition of Team Meli Talk. Really do appreciate the support. Make sure you get to our website, www.teammelitalk.com. Remember, this is your best source for the latest news on Team Meli. the national team of Iran. Make sure you find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know the handle, at Team Meli Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that notification button. See you on the next edition of Team Meli Talk.